If you remember, there are 12 posterior intercostal artery in the 12 intercostal space. If you remember, the first two upper two posterior intercostal artery, these are the branches of the superior intercostal artery. And this superior intercostal artery is a branch of the costocervical trunk, which is a branch of the subclavian artery. While the posterior intercostal artery of the remaining space are the branches of the descending thoracic aorta. Now, it is the internal jugular vein. It is the deep vein of the neck. We have learned in the carotid sheath that the internal jugular vein is present on the lateral aspect of the common carotid artery as well as the internal carotid artery inside the carotid sheath. This internal jugular vein is the continuation of the sigmoid sinus. Sigmoid sinus, that is the one of the dural venous sinus. This internal jugular vein starts from the posterior aspect of the jugular foramen, comes out from the posterior aspect of the jugular foramen. Then, at this beginning point, at its commencement, it forms a bulging, dilatations. This dilatation is the superior bulb. Superior bulb. This is the internal jugular vein of the both sides. This dilatation, it is the superior bulb of the internal jugular vein. This superior bulb rests on the jugular fossa of the jugular foramen, and this bulb is separated from the middle ear cavity, related with middle ear cavity with the floor. Means the floor of the middle ear cavity is separated from this bulb by a thin plate of the bone. Then it descends vertically downwards in the neck, lateral to the internal carotid artery and the common carotid artery. At the base of the skull, this internal jugular vein is situated posterior to the internal carotid artery because carotid canal is situated anterior while the jugular foramen is situated posterior. And between these two structures, means the internal jugular vein and the internal carotid artery, there is a 4 last cranial nerves, that is the 9, 10th, 11, 12. These 4 cranial nerves are present between the artery and the vein. Then it descends vertically downwards. Behind the sternoclavicular joint of the right side as well as the left side, it joins with the subclavian vein. Subclavian vein joins and form the brachiocephalic vein, right and the left. Then both brachiocephalic vein unite to form the superior vena cava. Now you see the tributaries of the internal jugular vein. The first tributaries, it is the inferior petrosal sinus. This is the first tributary. It comes through the jugular foramen and joins the superior bulb, and this inferior petrosal sinus connects this internal jugular vein with the cavernous sinus. Then these are the tributaries. The first, it is the pharyngeal vein present on the both sides. It is the pharyngeal vein of the pharyngeal plexus that drains the internal jugular vein, and these all tributaries pierce the carotid sheath to drain into this. Then the second, it is the common facial vein. Then it is the lingual vein, superior thyroid vein and the middle thyroid vein. These are the tributaries of the internal jugular vein. Now the last tributaries. This is the last tributaries. This is the, on the left side, it is the thoracic duct. Thoracic duct on the left side. On the right side, it is the right lymphatic duct that opens or drains at the junction of the internal jugular vein and the subclavian vein. Now, at its termination, if you see the diagram, there is another bulging. This is the inferior bulb. So, this internal jugular vein is dilated at the 2 points. One at the beginning, that is the superior bulb, and one before its termination, it is guarded by the wall. And this is the inferior bulb. And this inferior bulb is present in a space that is known as the lesser supraclavicular space. You can say lesser supraclavicular space or triangle. This triangle, it is formed by the tendinous origin of the sternocleidomastoid has the two head. The tendinous, this is the sternal head, takes origin from the sternum, and the sternocleidomastoid, it is the clavicular head that takes origin from the clavicle. And this is the triangular space, that is the lesser supraclavicular space, where the inferior bulb of this internal jugular vein is present. So, to pass the needle in the interjugular vein, this space is identified and the needle is directed posteriorly and above towards the apex of this lesser supraclavicular space. Why this internal jugular vein is important? This internal jugular vein, it is present inside the carotid sheath. Now, the deep cervical lymph nodes. These deep cervical divided into two categories, that is the jugulodigestic and the jugulo-omoid. Jugulodigestic and the jugulo-omoid lymph node, they are the category in the deep cervical lymph nodes. They are present around this internal jugular vein. Some are embedded in the carotid sheath and some are present deep to the carotid sheath along this internal jugular vein. This deep cervical lymph nodes receives the lymphatic drainage from the superficial lymphatics of the head and the neck region, that is the submental, submandibular, suboccipital. They ultimately drains into the jugulodigestic and the juguloid lymph nodes. This jugulodigestic, its importance is it is also known as the tonsillar lymph node. Tonsil and some parts of the tongue drains into the jugulodigestic. This jugulodigestic ultimately drains into the jugulo-omoid. It is the tongue lymph nodes. Major part of the tongue drains into the jugulo-omoid, and from this ultimately drains into the either right lymphatic duct or the thoracic duct. So these deep cervical limbs are arranged around this internal jugular vein, and they are present between the posterior belly of the digestive muscles that crosses superficially and the superior belly of the omoid. Between these two muscles, here it is the position, these are the jugulodigestic and jugulo-omoid lymph nodes are present. This is about the internal jugular vein.